All right, everybody, good afternoon. Wow, that's loud. I am in a smaller room. Whoop. Need to turn that down. Sorry about that, guys. Blowing your eardrums out. It is Friday, August 7th. It is actually 1:05. I'm a little late today. Got the link out to your guys' emails. We're going to do a little bit different kind of format today. I'm going to go over some of our numbers here so you guys know where we sit at, cover a few news stories that, is in our area. And I have Derek Plummer here in the studio today. We're going to introduce him and have a small interview with him. So we're going to wait for a few more people to join. We got two people in here now. I just sent the message out over Sam Sarah for you guys that are listening, so you guys kind of know what we're waiting on. I know it's not typical, and we usually fire this off at 104 every Friday without fail, but just some of the few numbers that you guys are looking at here. Last week, you guys ran 119,000 miles total for the fleet. That's actually 5,000 more than the week before. But you guys did that on 335 loads. We're down 8 loads from last week. 62 active drivers. So just so you guys out there know, we have 69 trucks out there currently active. They are, well, we have 2 in Georgia that are spares. We have 2 here in Ohio. So we're doing really good with drivers. We appreciate you guys sending them our way. We've got a lot better quality drivers lately. And I think you guys can all see it in our safety numbers. Those of you who have been here a while know that they look better than they have in a long time, or ever, from what I'm told by Rick. The fuel out there for you owner operators, if any of you guys are joining us right now, currently in Oakwood, Georgia, we're at $5.22 a gallon at the yard. And here at Logisticize, we're at $4.84 a gallon. So we're still out there. We're pretty low here compared to the average out there, at least in Paulding. Georgia spiked up. Well, they dropped their tax, essentially their foregoing the fuel taxes down there in Georgia that came back into effect. Indiana just extended theirs out to September. For you guys out there that live in Indiana, enjoy the fuel prices. Brian, he lives over there in Stroh, Indiana, and they're about $1 cheaper than we are here in Ohio. So if you guys are jumping in the comments out there, yep, no camera. We're not doing camera again there, Caleb, sorry. If you guys are on here, jump in. If you guys have any questions throughout this, we're going to try to keep it short, about 30 minutes again. It seems to work out a little bit better. I see we still only have 2 guys on here. See, this is why I need the mass text format. It's going to work out a lot better. Just a few news stories we have out there for the day. I looked up some. I wanted to pull out a few of these. So you guys have heard of Operation Highway Shield out there. And what it is, it's your non-domiciled foreign drivers that each state is kind of taking their own stance on how they're dealing with it. California out there, they had to get in line. Trump was going to cut all their funding for all their DOT programs, includes their scale houses, officers, anything like that. So that was kind of the last state that was pushing back on this. As we all know, California, quite a liberal state out there, and they wanted to keep them in there. So just in the last week, they've dropped 800 more of them, it looks like, issued 36 citations, 86 arrests, and they've recovered nearly $1 million in stolen cargo just by doing inspections. You guys, this is English proficiency, which I know a lot of you guys have talked to me about. They've had this law forever. They just started enforcing it again. I don't think we have any troubles here, never do, but you guys keep an eye out there. If you see anything that doesn't look right, anything like stolen cargo is one of the biggest problems we're having out there in the country. It's every podcast I listen to. It's every news story out there. The fraud is out of control. So keep you guys, a lot of you guys are calling to me, say this doesn't look right, or you'll call in and say, hey, this, I pulled into this rest area. I had this issue. This truck was over here. Keep doing that. We're actually, we have not had a stolen load. We've had 2 pallets. I think there's 2 pallets come up missing of shingles down in Georgia, parked in an area where it really shouldn't have. And outside of that, we've been pretty good. So all this security you guys have to deal with, your CDLs and giving out your CDL number, providing pictures of VIN numbers off the tractors, checking in with your shippers and receivers. And it seems like it's a CSI episode where they're getting all of your information. Just keep in mind that it's a huge problem out there. The FBI now has several programs they're putting into place to try to help with this. So out there, you guys, one of the issues I had was going to shippers and receivers, especially sitting at food warehouses, and they don't provide a place for you to go to the bathroom. You can't leave. You can park on site, but there's no place for you guys to have facilities. And they're starting to push some laws through here. New Hampshire's the first one on board. They actually are going to mandate shippers and receivers provide bathrooms for all drivers while they're on the property. Now, the problem is what we're seeing, they're kicking you off the property now. They're not allowing you to park there. They'll send you to a truck stop. Turn my mic up. All right. Sounded pretty loud to me. Anyway, I got that done. James Howard, turn it up. Tell me if that's any better. But anyway, they're not going to let you guys stay on property because they don't want to take on the expense of providing you with a bathroom. And we all know that there's people out there that don't take care of facilities. They don't, have any respect for anybody else. I guess one of the reasons down our Athens yard, we're very fortunate. You guys do the right things. You pick up your trash, you take care of stuff, and we don't ever hear a word out of them. They've been very happy with you guys being in there. They do provide a place for you guys to go to the bathroom. All they ask is you guys keep the trash cleaned up. So most of the customers we deal with, we don't really have an issue with that. So I want to commend you guys for being respectful, taking care of things out there. We appreciate it back here. It does reflect on our entire company, how you guys present yourself. So here in a little bit, once we get down to the end of this podcast, I'm going to go over a few changes for us here on our CSA scores and bring you up to date on that. But in the meantime, Derek, how are we doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. It's been kind of a busy morning. Kurt's got the grill out there. He's cooking some hot dogs and some hamburgers. I think he got most of them done. Several drivers have made it through, and they're eating back there. We appreciate you guys taking care of that for us.
Yeah. Kurt loves to grill, so we figured it's a nice day out. Why not?
Yeah, it's been pretty nice out. A little bit of foggy up here this morning. I woke up about 4 o'clock, poked my head out the door, and you couldn't see a block away. But other than that, we've had pretty decent weather around here, getting some rain that we need. So have you been out there for the 127 garage sales yet?
It's a madhouse out there.
So yes,
127 up from St. Mary's yesterday, and just people slamming on their brakes.
Yep.
One person just backed out in the middle of the road, truck slammed on its brakes. And I'm like, my father-in-law was with me, and I'm like, this is why we want the guys off the road this week, just because nobody's watching.
It's a nightmare. Yeah, it really is. I'd just sent a message out before I left to get a haircut for everybody, just kind of reminder to watch out for it. Sent a training out earlier in the week. And then no more than I was about across from Dairy Queen. It was right there in those strip of houses. I was headed out. And I had about a 3 to 5 year old kid run out in front of me, and I had to slam on the brakes to avert to miss him. And I had a tractor trailer behind me, so my first instinct was to look in my rearview mirror, and thankfully he's seen the same thing I did.
It took me a solid 30 minutes to run up to Chief and back. From here, the whole square in Paulding was like gridlocked.
Yep. So usually about a 10-15 minute drive for me to get to Sherwood over there to headquarters to get a haircut. It was almost an hour of just transit time getting back and forth. So yeah, it's been a pain. You guys have done a great job. We've never had an incident out there. I did put that in the training. You guys always look out for it. And you guys that live around here already know what it entails. You've dealt with it year after year. I moved over here 5.5 years ago, and the first time that I had to experience that in town, I went back to my place, shut the door, and didn't leave the rest of the weekend. It was terrible. So Derek, you joined us. You've been here quite a while, obviously. Everyone knows, I'm sure at this point, you are Rick's son. Not that identifies you. I'm just giving
keep
people
that quiet.
Yes.
Okay? I want people to know.
You don't want to get prejudged.
Yeah, right.
But so you joined us, and you are now officially an owner of the company along with Kurt. So it is you, Rick, and Kurt that do own Logisticize. It's been a whole lot of welcome changes. I will say that on my behalf, just from my perspective, the adoption of technology, which I'm going to get cursed at, I'm sure, has been wonderful. But 2 years ago, I went to a TCA conference, and we were, I took notes and looked at things, and we were kind of behind the 8 ball. We really had a lot of stuff that we could improve on. Even Rick, he was down there with me. We mentioned, a few of the similar items that we thought we could take on and improve the driver's experience here. And then this year I went to Oklahoma City, and I kind of sat there, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, we're ahead of all of this.
We're starting to get ahead of a lot of the other companies out there. Kurt and I went out to Minnesota last year, and we're sitting in a room, and everybody's telling us what they're doing with their drivers. And we came back from that, and that's kind of where this podcast came from.
Yep.
We want to get in front of the drivers. We want them to know that we're here. We want them to know that we're, a resource, and, we're all team here. So we're all like, I want everybody to know what's going on.
And it's been, I think our drivers are better informed. We're more open with our communication with them and what it takes to keep the trucks running down the road and why we do some of the things we do.
Yeah.
It's not just because we sit back here and decide, hey, let's make them do this. It's, it's laws and it's how we have to conduct business.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. Like I said, from my perspective, my conditions here to get all this stuff and get going and get this podcast things were made possible by you guys.
It's a lot of work. I mean, getting the mics and looking for platforms, you put a lot of work into it, and we can definitely tell.
Well, good.
So,
thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate it. We try to keep it somewhat entertaining. I know we have to cover some serious business, but we've had Justin and even Rick's been in, and Brian's contributed quite a bit to this.
Mm-hmm.
I've had great driver interviews. The guys that have came in, I really like doing those. I knew they got long, and I'm sure we lost some people along the way, but I don't really like to interrupt people telling their story. So
yeah.
But so you do a lot of our, basically in charge of a lot of our back office accounting and
Yep.
making sure we stay straight. So so the guys know out there, how big of an operation, I mean, we're not a huge trucking company, but how demanding is it to try to keep up with all of that, just to make sure we can drive up and down the road, they can get fuel, they can get the things they need, and we make sure we have stock here in our shop, of parts and things. Just kind of go over a little bit of that if you can, of what that takes.
Yeah. So for like the shop with inventory, stuff like that, it really takes a lot to have the, working with Ashley, making sure, looking at what tires we need to have, what equipment, as we phase older Volvos out, new ones in, what are we going to keep stocked on the accounting side, the billing side. There's so much that goes into it just when it comes down to titling the vehicles and plates. I mean, that takes so much time. I never realized how much time Rick spends on that each year. I'm just like, we're still talking about plates, like, man. And insurance, that's another big one that I deal with. Truck insurance.
Yep.
Working with you on the claims, how we're going to handle them. A lot of work. Everything is changing constantly. As with the technology in the trucks, with the cameras, and with litigation, and what attorneys are looking at, what the public's looking at, how the public perceives us, how, like, so much stuff goes into it that I had no idea. Like when I came back, I was like, oh wow, this is
changed.
Yes, it's a lot more in depth.
Yeah, I know Rick kind of joked around when he was in here earlier that you are the person that he needs sitting in that seat to tell him no, he can't buy something.
Yeah, I do that a lot. When Rick and Kurt and I are sitting down and we're talking about trucks, and it's like, no, let's hold off. Let's see what's, let's let things recover a little bit and see what, look at interest rates, see where we're at. Do we really need to buy these trucks? We're starting to get quite a few of the new DNL. Some of the new Macs are on their way. It's just, it takes a lot we want to get into a good flow. I mean, that's why we're trying to rotate the fleet so drivers have nice trucks, which comfortable.
That's one of the biggest things that's changed since the ownership did change, was our average age of the fleet has decreased dramatically. Mm-hmm. And I think I looked the other day, the average mileage on our tractors has dropped by over 200,000 miles across. That's a huge change. I mean, when you're talking about 70 trucks out there and you can flip them, the fleet like that in such a short period of time.
Yeah. I mean, we did a lot of moving around with trucks. Getting rid of some of the Kenworths, kind of phasing some of those out.
All of them.
They
all can go.
Yeah, I would love to see them all gone, but we're slowly getting there.
It takes time. I mean, there's a financial commitment there, and our 15 owner operators out there, they understand what that takes. But some guys have never, had to be on the back end of that and understand what plates and insurance and all that cost. It is a big undertaking. Every time you switch out a tractor, it's a boatload of paperwork to transfer plates, transfer insurance, get them on our list, essentially, so we're covered. So yes, Kenworth, yuck. We agree out there, Partlow.
Yep. So.
But not only trucks, it's trailers too.
Doing a lot with trailers. I mean, we got I forget how many new trailers we bought last year, van trailers. Just 20. Got some. Was it 20?
I think it was 20. I think we picked up two batches of 10.
It was pretty close. I mean, we had a whole bunch of lease trailers that went back. got some new trailers to us. They're not lease trailers. I don't know if we want to lease van trailers ever again, but
no, not with that nightmare.
So yeah. And then on the flatbed side, we got a couple new Rittenhours in, and new to us stretch trailers.
I was going to say, you found some and we refurbished them here, but it's still an upgrade for us for stretch trailers. We always run short on those.
Yep.
Those were aging and they were, we constantly be chasing the repair for them. That way new milk could get them loaded up. And so it'll make a big difference. And we got a couple windmill blade trailers out there to do some special, they're steerables.
Yep, I'd like to see Kurt use them a little more. I hope he's listening. I see him out there, so I'm always like, have those steerables moved lately?
How about the double drops?
Yeah, double drop. I don't know. The double drops, we got that one that's broke down still, so got to figure something out to do with that. But
I know Larry Reithman out there. He likes pulling around them double drops quite a bit. So along with the improvements we've had with the fleet, we've also looked at improving the facilities here. We've made some improvements here. Mm-hmm. We got some discussions of possibly a structure that the drivers can pull underneath.
Yep.
They can do some pre-trips underneath there out of the elements, have some light, at least make it nicer to fuel. Any progress on that or anything you want to discuss with that? Or is it just kind of
not yet? I mean, we really want to get something going on that. And it's really important to get the guys, give them time, get them out of the weather so that they can go around, look at their trucks, look at everything. And so they have a comfortable area for fueling. If we can just get guys out of the truck stops, I mean, it's not our guys that are the issues in the truck stops. It really isn't. It's, every time I see a video of one of our guys getting hit in a truck stop, I just cringe because it's just.
I mean, parking's tough. Sometimes you are going to end up there, and we know it's not your guys' fault, but the more you can stay out of those things, the better off you are. I mean, we've all seen the caliber of drivers they're putting on the road now. They're revoking schools' licenses to even put drivers on the road because the training that's out there in these driver mills, I guess we want to call it, is subpar, and it's really just, it's not producing good drivers that are looking out for others. And and on that note, as far as pre-trips and things like that, it'll help us avoid items like happened yesterday out there with one of our trucks that got pulled over in Kentucky. Everyone's done a great job, and it pretty much comes through. I'm not going to say the driver's name if you don't do pre-trips or you don't take care of it. So we got another out of service yesterday for tires down in Kentucky. And then we had a flatbed load of beams that was all strapped down with straps, or tied down with straps instead of chains. And 2 of them were defective. So not only an out of service for the tires, you get an out of service for the cargo securement as well. So it's one of those things we keep looking at. We keep trying to improve. If you guys have suggestions, just go ahead and give them to me. We don't ever discourage your suggestions. We take all of them, and we look at them. We say, hey, is this possible? Will this work for us? And is it cost effective for us to implement it? Mm-hmm. Essentially. And I have to run all that for you. So I have to have all that information ahead of time, or else you're going to say, well, what's this going to cost me?
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you have found that you enjoy when you came back that you've seen? And just some of the, obviously there's differences. We discussed some of them as far as technology and the tractors go, but just kind of the landscape of what's changed here at this location. I know you mentioned the Wall Street location where you guys were formerly located.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, I worked over at the Wall Street location. I did a lot of services on trucks, loading and unloading trucks. When we were in Haviland, I was in the shop a lot. Coming back more in an administrator role, very different. But after being away for some time, I appreciate what the culture is here versus other places. I always tell people, I remember when Dad worked at other trucking companies and drivers weren't allowed in the office areas. They had to stay behind the glass. And it just, I hate that. Anytime I go into a facility, I'm like, they're your drivers. They should be able to come in. I mean, I've toured other facilities and it's like, come back to the offices. I don't mind you come back and talk to us. I'd rather hear if there's a problem than a problem escalate and it never got to us and then somebody's mad. So, I mean, the culture here is really what I'm impressed with how well the culture is here versus other companies, and just being a part of that. And like, we're always trying to think of new things to do for the guys. I mean, like the podcast and trying to get snacks and stuff in the break rooms for people, make sure that the bathrooms and showers are clean so the guys have somewhere to go. TV out at the fueling island. How do we get information to everybody?
Well, one of the things I'd like to figure out is why on earth the TV outside resets itself to 100 volume every day at midnight.
I pull in and I'm like, man, I hear Doug's voice. It's like he's yelling at me across the parking lot.
I cannot for the life of me figure out why it's doing it. So we're working on that, guys. If you guys see that out there and it's obviously clear up at 100, there's a volume button on the side. Just go ahead and turn the volume down to a reasonable volume. But for some reason, around that midnight time frame, it goes from about 23 as a volume level straight to 100. If I figure it out, I'll try to let you know. Anybody that has experience with outdoor TVs like that, if you have an idea, let me know too. So no, I think that we like I said, we've had a lot of good changes here. You've noted the changes that you've seen just in your time away and then coming back. What's one of the biggest directions that one of the visions you have that you would like to see us go in as a company? What's really, the ultimate goal? Obviously, we're all here to make money. I mean, that's not a secret.
Oh yeah.
Anybody in trucking knows that if you've owned a truck or anything, this isn't a quick path to getting rich or anything like that. I think that there's a very good balance here. I think you guys reinvest a tremendous amount of money in making it a good driver experience. When I started here it's going on 5 years ago, everybody has a question on those 4 P's, and the first one being people. A lot of people say, you go to a lot of companies and say people first, people first, people first. I truly feel for the first time in my adult, career that this is the only place that I've seen that. And it's especially that way for the drivers. Everyone tries to make sure they get what they need. If there's information missing, and, most of the time guys will take calls midnight, 1 o'clock to help you out. I ran back up here at 7, 8 o'clock last night to get a tablet out of a truck that was stuck in the shop for a guy. Everyone, I think, does a really good job at making this a driver-friendly environment. Can we be perfect for everybody? I don't think that that's possible. You get 2 people in office. It can't be perfect for 2 different people.
Right. I mean, so where I'd like to see things go is I want to see healthy, sustainable growth within the company. Rick and I were just talking about that earlier today. It's like, how do we grow? How do we, what's our next step? But I never want to be in a company that we grow too fast, that things start to suffer and we start to forget why we're here and what we're doing and the people that are here with us and the people that have helped build this place. I mean, that's why Kurt's here and that's why I'm here. I mean, we both grew up with Dad building this, and we saw everything that went into it and the people. I mean, there's people in this office, there's drivers that have been around 15 plus years. Time. Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't have came back if it wasn't for some of them, because I know that, they see what we're trying to do, and I want to be a part of that.
And it's a loyalty thing. I mean, we have very loyal drivers. I mean, look, even office staff here.
Yeah, office staff too. I mean,
Joe's been here. How long have they worked together? 30 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's not listening to that. But no, I mean, I think that's a huge thing around here. And our owner operators have some of the longest tenure. But you got guys like Hauser out there, and there's several others that have been here, even the company driver, for as long as the place has been open.
Yeah.
And that's a very rare, I guess, accomplishment, if you want to call it that, nowadays with companies, because anyone with a CDL knows, and it's why it's not in my back pocket, that you can just decide one day that I'm done, and in 2 hours you could have another job. So
they'll throw you the keys, you'll be down the road.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a tough environment to try to hire drivers in. I think we're pretty fortunate here. I mean, we really don't have empty trucks. A lot of the meetings and safety conferences, even that I go to, it almost always ends up as recruiting, and it's inevitable. It's the toughest thing to keep up with. Yep. And that's why we encourage an orientation, communication. Talk to us. If we don't know there's a problem, we can't fix the problem.
Right. Yeah. No, I have to say one thing. It's like, if guys have an issue with something, bring it up. I'd rather know about it beforehand than, somebody leaves because of an issue and you go, well, that would have been a simple fix.
Exactly.
For us. We don't know back here a lot of times. You guys are the ones who are out on the roads. You see the stuff. You're the ones using the tablets, the trucks, and you're talking to other drivers, and what else is out there that other drivers might give you ideas and things that we can look into. I mean, a lot of my job is I'm looking for what's next. What's the next software we're going to use? What are the next tablets we're going to use? What are the next trucks we're going to use? Are we going to switch things up? I mean, last year we had Peterbilt in here, and then they demoed a truck for us, and at the end of the day, we just weren't as happy with it as what we thought we were. I mean, growing up as a kid, I always thought, man, if I had a fleet, it's all going to be Pete's.
Until that bill comes.
Yeah, and then I started running the finances, and I was like, hey, yeah, we're not running Pete's. I can tell you that much. They look nice.
Yeah, they do. They're a nice truck. I mean, Larry Reithman will attest to that. You got Bryce out there. There's several guys that run them, but they do cost a lot, and they do take a lot of fuel.
Yep.
That is one of the things. And you got to look at that when you're running a company. Obviously, everyone understands that out there. So looking at the future, we're taking care of drivers. One of the things I wanted to mention was you and Justin put a lot of work in to our driver benefits package, so to speak. And we've had a kind of an overhaul and a lot of stuff that's happened here recently. We discussed it a little bit last week, but that fleet ops rolling out there for the drivers has been great. I have heard several compliments from guys. They like being able to see that money. They like seeing it on their tablet. So that was a lot of work put in by you and Justin. I know that. Their PTO, that was completely figured out by you and Justin. So, a lot of, they may not know a lot of the newer drivers because they don't see you in here as much, or they've not just had a chance to meet you yet.
Yeah.
Don't know what, that you were a part of all that. So it was a huge benefit out there that we could offer the PTO as well as paid vacations, as paid holidays.
Yep. That was another one.
Yep. So, and then everybody, van drivers got a raise across the board. The guarantee for the flatbed drivers, you were a part of all of that and trying to help them out.
Now that you say that, all that, I'm thinking, man, we did a lot in the last 2 years that I've been here.
It's been a lot. Yeah. It really has.
Yeah.
I mean, we've adopted new technology in here, thankfully. And it makes our jobs a lot easier, giving us the tools that we need. So Jeff out there, I'll be using Marketplace once I'm allowed to get reimbursement for the insurance in Kentucky. So, hey, Jeff, I don't want to venture too far into the insurance because I don't handle that. If Derek would like to, he's more than welcome to, but that's one I'm going to stay away from, and I'll let Derek comment on.
Justin's the one who's more versed in that marketplace and stuff. I mean, I've sat in multiple meetings in the last 3 months trying to figure something out for, different packages for driver's insurance, for health insurance. But I mean, it's a lot. I mean, we are in this weird place of being a company that's not quite 100 employees. I sat down and had this long meeting with a company. I thought they sounded great. And they're like, oh, you're too small. We won't even talk to you.
They took all your time. And then
the guy's like, come back in a couple of years after you grow. I'm like, wow, thanks for wasting my time. I mean,
exactly.
It's hard. I mean, that's probably one of the most frustrating things right now is health insurance for the guys, and is trying to figure out what we want to do next on how we handle it.
Yeah. And just a quick note out there. Yeah, Jerry, you have been here for that long, 8 years and the 9th of October now, and you own your own truck now, Jerry. So you know about what we're talking about here with all the bills.
Yeah.
But no, I know that it's a very big struggle with we're, like you said, we're right there in between with insurance. It's tough anyway. Even we have one claim where we have a loss this year on the books with our insurance company. That doesn't include the little incidents that have happened that we've, paid out of pocket for on our own. But regardless, we'll probably see an insurance premium increase no matter how well we do. It seems like that's kind of the industry standard right now, where it just keeps going up. And it's these nuclear verdicts out there for $104 million are exactly what's doing it. I mean, it's our society that's driving this up. And, we're not in traditional insurance. We're in a captive. We get more of the decision-making capabilities, like you said earlier. So we have a chance to combat some of that, but the fraud that's out there, it's unreal. And there's no way to combat it other than keep your drivers informed, like our roadside parking. That's why I put the training out for that. That's one of the biggest frauds going on. We are in the Atlanta metro area, of course, with an Oakwood, Georgia terminal, which is now the most litigious in the entire country as of the beginning of the year. So we have a lot of battles that we deal with here. But you guys have been basically rock stars this year. I don't know how you guys have done it. I appreciate it. I believe that it is a lot better because we don't have a few people with us that cause some of the issues. We've taken care of that. That's something we looked at back here on our end and move a little quicker to take care of not necessarily a problem driver, but a problem habit. We're not in the business of hiring a guy on just to get rid of him. That's not what we're here for. If it's something we need to change, we try to do it reasonably and civil. You guys, I call you out there. I don't yell. It's always a civil conversation to try to get things done, but we have, a way we do things, and we do that based on data. It's thousands of crashes that happen over a short period of time, and we get snapshots every quarter. I do from our insurance agent that helps us kind of give you guys a training to, hey, look out for this, or this is coming, up in a month. A lot of that being, construction zones in Indiana is a big one. They've had a lot of accidents, so they put out a very huge pilot program. And I believe one of the news stories that I was looking at doing in the state of Indiana was 8,650 tickets in construction zones in the month of June. And we were 2 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're really cracking down on it out there, guys. One of the last things I want to cover with you before we wrap this up, because we've been at it here a little over half hour, I believe. Yep. We're approaching a half hour. What is your favorite memory growing up with Rick on working on these trucks, getting things ready, or just kind of a funny moment, or maybe a funny anecdote that you can think of back in time that is just kind of a Rick moment that everyone would understand?
Oh,
there's probably so many of them, and I put you on the spot there.
I've got so many memories. I mean, man, I let's see.
I mean, was it enjoyable growing up, being around the trucks and things? I didn't have that experience. I got into trucking completely out of left field. It wasn't something I ever looked at, intended to get into. It was because a factory I worked at closed. But you from day one, I'm assuming you were around trucks.
I was. Being around trucks, it was hard because Dad was on the phone a lot. Yep. I mean, we didn't have all the technology. He didn't have a Doug or an Ashley in the shop. He would manage all of that from the phone at the house. So I mean, that was rough. I mean, favorite memories, geez, there's so many of them. I mean, I remember years ago, back when Dad was at Bourne, right behind the warehouse at Bourne, me and Nate would sneak off to this golf course, and we'd pick up golf balls, and we'd take golf balls off the fairway of people golfing. And while Dad was in the office working, and we'd come back with all these golf balls, and he'd be like, well, where'd you get those? And it's like, well, don't worry about it.
Was that before they put the back nine? The front nine at Garrett is terrible.
See, I don't know. But I mean, that was a long time ago that he was there. And another one was, I was in high school, and it was like 11, or no, I think it was like, I was working second shift somewhere. So I would get off at 11 o'clock at night, and Dad texted me and he goes, hey, when you get home, wake me up. Okay. So get home 11:30 at night, and there's a semi truck sitting in the driveway, and I wake him up, and he goes, yeah, you don't have school tomorrow. He goes, hey, we're jumping in the truck. We're running out to Reading, Pennsylvania to pick up a stack of written hours. So we drove all night, got out there, toured the factory, and drove back, and went to school the next day. And people were like, what'd you do? I was like, well, I drove all the way out there and back. And people were just like, really?
I haven't slept. That's what's going on.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, just always jumping in the truck. Going with Dad to a lot of places, customers, steel mills. I mean, back in the day with motorcycles, running motorcycles around.
So you got to be a part of that. Oh,
unfortunately, yes.
I've heard the horror story. Everyone, I don't think I've heard one person. Now, I've heard positive stories and funny stories, but I haven't heard one just say, man, I really love that.
I hated loading bikes. Let me tell you what, I hated loading bikes. Going there, and we had to. That was Dad be like 9 o'clock, be at the office on Saturday morning, and we would move a couple hundred bikes, and I hated it. And I was like middle school, so I dropped so many bikes and get yelled at for dropping bikes, and I'm like,
even when they only needed the frame, they only needed the frame.
Oh yeah. So don't miss bikes at all.
All right, one last thing. What is your favorite trip? What is the most memorable favorite trip that you ever took out in a truck? Whether it doesn't matter who it was with.
See, I never got to do a lot of the fun trips on the trucks.
Was that more of a Kurt thing?
It was like recovering trailers or like driving. I mean, back when I remember going and picking up trailers that had rolled over, and we get there, and the trailer's like, van trailer's all bent, and they got 2-inch straps wrapped around the trailer, holding it together. And Dad and I are pulling it back, and it's full of Walmart food that's going bad. Like,
at least you didn't go hungry.
Yeah, no, didn't go hungry. But yeah, I mean, I don't know I just feel like I didn't do a lot of trips. There's a lot of small trips. I had one of them was, somebody asked me if I've ever been to Chicago. And I was like, I've been to Chicago a lot of times, but it's always in the middle of the night. And it was a drop and hook situation with Dad. Never once saw the city.
Couldn't see anything. Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was always fun riding in the truck with Dad. I mean,
see, I think I would have enjoyed that. Yeah. I never had that. I don't think I jumped into a semi until I was nearly 30 years old. It had to be close to that, something like that. Yeah. So, well, hey, we really appreciate taking time to jump in here. I know you don't have a lot of free time. Like I said, I wanted to make this about 30 minutes. Anything else you'd like to add, or anything you can think of that we should get out there to the guys?
No, we appreciate what all the drivers are doing, all the hard work this year. We definitely can see it on the safety side. Makes a huge difference. Doug's doing a great job, communicating with everybody, letting us, know what he needs so that he can do his job. So, we appreciate what Doug's doing, and actually everybody, the techs in the shop are doing a great job. I mean, back in the day when I was in the shop, and we would just cobble things together all the time, just get it back out. And that's probably why Dad hasn't let me go back in the shop. because I would probably just rig something up and send somebody on their way being like, it's fine.
It'll work. We went over to Vomac. It was a couple days ago to pick up truck 274. They just finished up with it, and Rick picked up it just looked like the frame of a wagon. It had a couple of axles, and that was all that was left of it. And I think he spent a good 15 minutes digging around the back, figuring out how he was going to hook this wagon to his pickup truck. And there was a C-clamp involved. That's all I'm going to say. That's the end of that. So I probably understand about how that happens. Yep. So real quick, guys, before I let you off here, I want to let you know we do have an update to the CSA. So you guys are, as we talked about, we are out of alert status for every category. One of the biggest things I wanted to let you know is we are now have a green score for our inspection selection score. You're at a 44. The lowest I've seen it here was a 45. That was just very briefly before we had an accident last year. But, I know this is a big deal for us. Like you'd said, we'd struggled a little bit with safety here and there. I appreciate you guys freeing me up to take care of safety all on its own this year. Mm-hmm. I do believe it was time for that. We got to a point where
it was the right move. It was the right move for us.
I think so too. And these scores right here certainly reflect it. I mean, every single score that we have, everything is downtrending except for unsafe driving. You guys have done a wonderful job out there. I have about 2 more days, and all of July's numbers will pull through. I'll push them out there for you guys, but we've already taken a huge hit. We've got 45 points that have packed on for vehicle maintenance, and we do have our crash in Kentucky that pulled through, Michigan that pulled through. We did get hit on a ramp. That's why I wanted to bring this up. You guys, I know there's times where you guys get put in a position where you feel like you need to pull on a ramp, but if you can all avoid it, the very reason that we discuss this is because we were parked on an on-ramp, which is where I've suggested, if you're stuck doing that, to try to position yourself. But it didn't matter for this guy. It wasn't his fault. He really didn't do anything wrong. There was no signs going down that side of the ramp that said no parking. He sent clear video of that. And he was probably a full truck width off of the ramp itself. And another semi just drove right down the ramp and drove right in the back end of our trailer, all the way up the side of it. And nothing really that driver could have done outside of, maybe planning ahead a little bit more and seeing if he could get a spot to park. To be fair, he planned on parking at a rest area. He arrived at that rest area up there near Monroe, Michigan. And at 10 o'clock at night, there wasn't a single truck in there. So you already know something's going on. And they were going to pass out some $500 fines if he'd have stayed parked there. So guys, keep it safe out there. We're going to tack on 3 points for our crash this month. It will reflect most likely as putting us back in alert, but I already have the case submitted, or actually I have all the video evidence we need to submit that to the FMCSA. It will get dropped. We did not do anything wrong. So keep up the great work out there, guys. We appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Remember, we have food here today. If you guys get through here, it's back in the training room. Come back and see us. Derek, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything you've done. And we look forward to seeing where the company goes in the future here. Mm-hmm. All right. Have a good day out there, guys. Appreciate talking to you.